Halacha Gimel, the very beginning of it. We're still in the introduction. So we just started in with the Hakdama. How the Likutey Halakhot works is that Rav Nosson gives a brief summary of the Torah, and he summarizes the points, not the whole Torah, but the points that he wants to bring up. And each time Rav Nosson brings a summary on the same lesson, it's different. It's different each time. Fine. So now we left off last time in Rav Nosson's introduction. And like I said, each introduction is different. For another halacha, he'll give a different presentation of the summary of the Torah, and he'll point out other points. And he might even reword it, stress it differently. So, but now in our context, Keriat Shema Halacha Gimel, he's going to give what he wants to present. So we left off in the Akdama, in the Rav Nosson's summary of the Torah and the Likutey Moran. It's not yet Rav Nosson talking, it's him giving the summary of the lesson in brief. So then he says like this: Sheyesh makifim shehem bechinat yamim. You see that? In the middle of Aleph, in Sif Aleph, Sheyesh makifim shehem bechinat yamim. He says that the meaning of makifim. What is makifim? Makif is basically levels of da'at which are still beyond you. They have to become internalized. It's called makif because it surrounds you. Why is it surrounding you? Because it can't enter into you. Why? Because you're not ready yet to receive it. And one of the amazing reasons that Rabbeinu in this lesson gives why you're not ready to receive it, because there's no space inside of you to receive the makif. You have to make room. How do you make room? By teaching others, by speaking to other people words of Yirat Shamayim. You make space inside of you now, because you let it out now, by now expressing what's inside of you, your da'at, to other people. So now you have space in your head, and now the makif, what was beyond you, can now become internalized, can enter. It's an amazing idea. That's why it's so important to not just learn and keep everything by yourself. It's to learn, limod ulelamed, to learn and also to give over. Why do you do that? Because you gain in the end. In the end, you gain because your comprehension and understanding of things is enhanced, because now you leave room for new inyanim to enter you. Rabbeinu has a little Torah on the Likutey Moran. I think it's Torah Kuf Ayin something, 170 something, 170 or 180 something, that the nature of air is that as soon as you let out a little opening, the air runs into that opening. Right? If you have something in a sealed air in a room, and you make a little hole, then all the air goes out of that hole. So that's how it is. That the way of what's inside of you is to when you give it over to other people, so now it spreads out, and there's more room inside of you to receive newer levels of wisdom. What's the chidush? Is that you don't forget what you gave over. When you learn something and then you give it over to somebody else, it stays with you. It stays with you. But the chidush is because you gave it over, so now what stays with you is like in computers you have like a zip type of folder. There's a folder where you can do storage, and it's very compressed. That's the word in English. You do a compressing of the storage of the information in the disk. So too, when you're able to give out to other people what you have in your head already inside of you, so what you know already becomes compressed. It's still inside of you. You don't forget it, but it's compressed, and there's more room now for other things to come inside of you. And that's the idea of the makif. So he says in the lesson, Rabbeinu, there's two types of makifim. You have makifim shem bechinat shanim. You have that which is beyond you, levels of wisdom which are surrounding you, beyond you, which are the bechinat shanim, they're years. Bechinat, like it says, it's a pasuk, tkufot hayamim, the period of days, tkufot hashanim. He says there's that of days and that of years. These two types of makifim, he doesn't go into it yet. Rabbeinu, though, in the lesson also doesn't explain the idea. What is the difference between tkufat shanim and tkufat yamim? That you have types of makifim. The word tkufa is like makif. Tkufa means a period of time. Why do we call a tkufa a period of time? There's a tkufa. This is a period in my life. It's called a tkufa. The word tkufa is rooted in makif. That means surrounding, because the tkufa is in time, and the year is like a circle. It's like a circle. We start a year, and then we end the year, and we start the next year. So that means to get to the beginning of the next year, it has to be like a circle that I went through. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, right? All of Tishrei. and then Cheshvan, and Kislev, and it goes down, and then you come back to the beginning of the next year. To the end of the previous year, Elul leads to Eshrei, so it's Tishrei, so it's like a circle. It's called the Tkufa, and that Rabbeinu borrows to say that's the idea of Makif. And you have, the Pasuk says, Tkufot Yamim, a period of Makif, of days, and Tkufot Shanim. He doesn't go into it. And in the lesson itself also, Rabbi Nachman doesn't go into it. Let's see if Rav Nosson begins to explain what's the difference between a Makif, which is a day, and there's a Makif, which is a year. And why do I need to be told about both? Just tell me this Tkufat Yamim, that there's a concept of a day, and that has a Makif. It's very deep, these things. We're not going to go into it because Rav Nosson his purpose is not to go into it now. He's giving a summary of the lesson, what he wants to bring out. We should be aware of the points in the Torah and the Likutey Halakhot. So again, there are Makifim, which are called days, and Makifim, which are called years. Now he brings the proof. Tkufot Hayamim is a pasuk in the Navi, and there's another pasuk. It says Tkufat Hashana, periods Makifim of years. All this, he says, is a bechinat shefa haketer. This is the highest possible level. What's called the shefa, the abundance, the bounty, the blessing of the keter. Keter is the highest sphera possible, and it's ungraspable. There's no kesher to it. There's no way that we can have any connection, any dot to it. Keter is above what's called the 10 sphirot. Sphirot, chesed, gvura, tiferet, netzach, hod, yesod. All the sphirot, they have an attribute connected to it. Like chesed, it's a shefa coming down in the format of chesed. So I can understand it's chesed, it's kindness. Gvura, I can understand it's severity, judgment, right? And tiferet is splendor. Each one has a characteristic. But keter, there's nothing. There's no connection to it at all. And Rabbeinu is saying that this idea of the makif, each person has, according to his level, you have a keter. Keter is what? Is what's beyond you. The word itself, keter, is what? A crown. And the crown sits in the head like a circle. And that's just like a makif, what's surrounding you and has not yet become internalized. That's makif, and that's the idea of the keter together. So he calls that shefa keter. Shefa keter means when the makif becomes part of you, it's called shefa keter. The bounty of what was before surrounding you becomes internalized. He says v'chul, etc. Because his purpose, Rav Nosson, is not to go into it, and also we're not going to go into it in this class because we want to get to finally how Rav Nosson is talking and explaining the ideas. This is more for the Likutey Halakhot class, B'ezrat Hashem. V'tzarich sheyelo. Now the tsadik, we're in the middle of the summary. The tsadik who's able to talk to people who are up there to show them that they're still far, and to talk at the same time to people who are very far, and to show them that Hashem is next to them and that there's hope for them and they shouldn't give up. So the tzaddik who has this power and ability, tzarich sheyelo bechinat kol. He has to have this concept called kol. We're going to explain what is this kol. Kol means everything. What is this everything? Shilchal le'a'ir b'darei mala v'darei mata. Fine. That he should be able to enlighten those who dwell above, people who are very high, tzaddikim, u'b'darei mata, and people who are very low, very far from Hashem, the dwellers lower. B'chinat, like it says. We say this every morning in Vayvarech David, right? Lecha Hashem ha'gdula v'gvura v'tiferet v'netzach v'hod ki chol b'shamayim ba'aretz. For everything, Hashem, you're the master of everything. For you, Hashem, is wealth, osher, kavod. Everything is yours, Hashem. Ki chol b'shamayim ba'aretz. Everything is in heaven and in earth. And the Targum, if you look at that pasuk, it's a pasuk in Chronicles, Divrei Yamim. So the Targum is de'ached b'shmaya ga'a. In praising Hashem, it says, kichol, because everything. The Targum doesn't translate kichol as because everything, but he translates it as de'ached. He's able to hold together and as one, bishmaya ve'ara. When it says the pasuk kichol b'shamayim v'aretz, everything's in heaven and earth, he means everything is connected. De'ached bishmaya ve'ara. And Rabbi Nachman is extending it that even the tzaddik also has to have this characteristic. There in the pshat of the pasuk, it's talking about Hashem. Lecha Hashem, hagdula, v'gvura, v'tiferet, v'netzach v'hod, kichol b'shamayim v'aretz. It's all talking to Hashem. And Rabbi Nachman in the lesson extends it that a tzaddik also has to have that ability of what's called kichol b'shamayim v'aretz, which means to join together heaven and earth. What does it mean to join together heaven and earth? To be able to shine in one shot those who are above in heaven. There was big tzaddikim, big shots, people who are very big and very close to Hashem, and they have a closeness because of their they're masim tovim. That's Shemaim. And Aretz are people who are, like they say in Yiddish, people in the earth. People who are there under the earth. They're so low, they're so blemished, they're so full of averis and taibis and everything, that they're mamash in the earth, that tzadik has to have an ability to connect them, to connect two opposites together. The ached bishmaya v'ara'ah. Lehar'ot, and he explains it now. Lehar'ot le'darei ma'ala she'ein yodin klal. Right? To show those who are dwelling above that they still know nothing at all. Because what's the trick? What's the problem? The closer a person gets to Hashem, the more he's under the test of becoming fooled that he knows something about Yiddishkeit. He has hasagot. He knows something. He's a man da'amar. He's somebody who has shoulder and is able to understand these inyani. So the thing is, if a person with that attitude, he'll stop pursuing to continue to come close to Hashem. We'll stop it. There's nothing to push him to go forward because he feels comfortable. I know I'm a big shot. I have a B. I have a degree in Shas, in Zohar, in Midrash Shema. I know everything. I know a lot of Torah. So what's going to happen now? He's going to stop his continuity to keep on going. So that person has to be shown you know nothing. You're still far, and there's nothing that you have still. Why do we have to show him that? So they'll keep on going. Because if he stops, then he's finished. The thing in Yiddishkeit is Hashem is endless, Ein Sof, and serving Hashem also is endless. And a person, until the day he passes away, and even afterwards, has to always be continuing to try to serve Hashem. Not to become stagnant. I reached a level, that's it, I'm going to stop at this level. No, Judaism is, Hashem is Ein Sof, meaning that you have to keep on going as much as you can, to do your maximum, to do whatever you can to keep on going. But in order to do that, you have to have a drive to push you. So the people who are up there, like he says, that the people who are up above, the big shots, the big people, that they still know nothing at all. Klal, look at his wording. They know nothing at all. Not just they know nothing. Klal. They have to be shown by the tsadik that they're in total darkness, these people. A knowing of Hashem. Bivchinat, like it says in the introduction to Tikkunei Zohar. Mechamit ma pishpasht. What did you accomplish? In Hakdamat to Tikkunei Zohar, it talks about the drive to push a person to go forward in life. And they say in the Zohar there, Mechamid, what did you accomplish? Mechamid, what did you see? Mapishpasht, what levels did you touch that you now are claiming that you're a big shot? And he's saying this is what's needed for the people who are up there. To tell them, what did you accomplish? What did you see? In order that they should go forward. And now the opposite, L'darei mata, for the people who are very low, and to talk to them like this will make them despair totally. You tell people who are far on the earth, you're a low life, you're a far person, you're so far from Hashem. What he's going to tell you? Thank you, I closed the book, and that's it. It's not for me, Yiddishkeit Chas Hashem. Right? We don't want that to happen. So we have to hefech, L'darei mata, the munachim lemata, the people who are so low, and they're mamash literally placed very low. Le'arot lahem, you have to show them. The tzadik has to be able to show them the opposite. She'Hashem imam ve'etzlam. No, Hashem is close to you. Hashem is next to you. He's with you and next to you. Don't feel that you're totally far. This explains, by the way, the Baal Tshuvas, people who do tshuva, or someone who begins to serve Hashem, he feels a tremendous closeness to Hashem. He feels the light of Tefillin, the light of Shabbos. People who start in the Yiddishkeit, for example, when they begin, they have an intense light. This light is the tzadik basically showing them that Hashem loves you, Hashem's close to you. That's why many people who do tshuva in the beginning, they have a big light that they feel Hashem everywhere. As opposed to people, they have a joke. When does a Baal Tshuva cross the border becoming a Baal Tshuva and now becoming a Baal Bait, Baal Bus? When does he cross the border? When he starts talking in shul. Then you know that the light is finished already. Because normally when people in the beginning of the tshuva, they're very careful. Shh, they're davening now. They have a big hira, a big revelation of Hashem's presence in their life. That's this. Who's doing it? Who's responsible? In this lesson, Rabbi Nachman teaches us that's the tzadik giving the person who's far this light, that Hashem is next to you, and every single tiny thing you do is tremendously precious. He needs that in order to push that person to do tshuva, to push him to come close to Hashem. Because if you show him darkness, he's going to stay that way. He's not going to change. So the tzadik shows the darei mata, the people who are dwelling below, and they're mamash munachim lemata me'od. Look at his wording. They're placed literally down under earth to show them that not only is Hashem with you, Hashem is with you, Hashem is next to you. There's many wordings here. Every wording, there's a lot of depth. In me, He's with me, Hashem is with me, I'm not alone. Number two, He's next to me. No matter where I go, I'm not alone again. In other words, Hashem is with me wherever I go, in general. And then wherever I am, I'm not alone. He's mamash next to me, etzli, He's right by me, etc. Kimelo kol haaretz kevodo. This is the hasaga, the contemplation of these people who are far. That what? They're given this hasaga, that Hashem's glory fills the entire earth. Dafka kol haaretz. The people who are munach, who are placed in the earth, they feel the kavod of Hashem. Like it says, like Yeshayahu, the verse says in Yeshayahu, like it says, Hakitzu v'ranenu shochne afar. Wake up and sing, those who dwell in the earth. Those the people who are very far. They dafka have a big push. Again, that's why the typical attitude is, you have Baal Tshuvas who come, they're filled with this fire. This is this fire. The tsadik opens up the light of da'at for them, that they feel this tremendous closeness to Hashem. They didn't do anything to deserve it. It's given to them as a gift in order to push them to continue their pursuit of tshuva. And then when they shift the position from becoming far in the aretz and they start going upwards, then Hashem takes away the light. It's amazing. In this Torah, Rabbeinu is explaining how the process of tshuva works, the Baal Tshuva, how we see that. And we see it today, and it's in this lesson. But someone who's darei mata, someone who's in the earth, they give him a big light that Hashem's with you, in order to give them the push that there's a value in me coming back to Hashem, and Hashem will accept me, and Hashem wants me. The proof is, look at the light I feel in my avodat Hashem. I feel tremendous light. So that means Hashem wants me. But it's that is sent for them in order to get them moving. And then once they begin more and more in the realm of holiness and kedusha, and they slowly shift from aretz to shamayim, from being in the earth to heaven, so now the opposite is needed to make them go on. What? Now they take away the lights, and they see nothing now in order to push them to go forward. And it's people now who are getting up every morning, and they're solid in their davening, solid in their Torah study. These people, dafka, they have to be shown that they're still far. Because if they see the light and they're continuing the service, it's going to die down. They're not going to push themselves to go forward. Because the most important thing in life is you have to always be moving. You can't stop. They used to say this amazing parable, that Yiddishkeit is like walking up an escalator going down. You know the escalators that are going down? If you stop, you go down with it. You have to, in order to go up, you have to keep on moving, walking up in order to get out of the escalator. If you stop, you go downwards. In Judaism, you always have to be on the move. Whether you're 20 years old, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, you have to keep on moving. And it's not to become routine chas v'shalom, not to become every day I'm davening, every day. No. The thing is to push you to go forward. Not just to do every day what you're doing, but to do it in a way that you're planning to go forward. So the people now who are already into the world of Torah, of prayer, of holiness and everything, in order to push them to go forward, they have to be shown that total darkness, that you have nothing. Look, you're davening every day, you're praying, but you're in total darkness. What does that mean? We want to push you. You have the ability to go forward, you're doing everything, and you don't see the light. So this is to push you to do more. And they know that in heaven, we know that you can do much more. So we're pushing you by sending you only darkness, that you don't see anything. What did you accomplish? Where are you? Okay? But the opposite is true. The people who are on the earth, dafka, they need to be shown that Hashem is so close to them. And this concept is such a deep concept. It's switching. It's showing what it's the idea, what it says about the Beit HaMikdash. Elyonim lemata, tachtonim lemala. It's a concept which comes a lot in the Torah, that those who are above are down below, and those who are down below are above. You can't understand it. It doesn't make sense. Someone who's so low is really so close, and someone who's so close is really so far. Come on. And he says, yes, this is an amazing concept, that in order to keep a person going, he has to be shown the opposite of who he is, of where he is, in order to get him going. That's the push. And this, believe it or not, is the whole idea of these makifim. Makifim, which is, you can't understand it. You can't understand. Someone who's so far, he did the worst sins right now. He killed people, he did slander, he did the biggest averas, and then Hashem opens the light of tshuva for him. Why? What did he do to deserve it? He didn't do anything to deserve it. So there's no sechel in that also. It's a makif. This in itself is the idea of a makif. You can't understand it. It's only emunah to accept it. And the opposite, the guy who's davening every day and learning and doing chesed, why should it be in darkness? Let him see the light of what he's doing. Again, it's a makif. We don't do it. You can't. We understand the reason, but it doesn't make sense how it could be. He's generating so much. The guy is going to the mikveh every day for 20, 30, 40 years. And the mikveh, what it does to a person, just to give you an idea. Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, he was the chief Rav of Yerushalayim. He wasn't from the Hasidish Welt. He was from Pressburg, which was more Ashkenazi, Litvish style. When he came to Yerushalayim, he started going to the mikveh every day. And then when afterwards, the Rosh Yeshiva of Slobodka, Rav Yisrael Zalman Meltzer, I heard this story from Rav Brenner, by the way. Rav Brenner told me the story a few times. When Rav Yisrael Zalman Meltzer came to Yerushalayim, and he opened the Chaim Yeshiva, and he heard that Rav Sonnenfeld, the Rav of Yerushalayim, of the Ashkenazi community, is going to the mikveh every day, he said to him, Rav Sonnenfeld, what is this? You became a chassid? So Rav Sonnenfeld said to him like this, very simple. Imagine, if a mikveh can transform a goy into a Jew, then just imagine what it can do to a Jew himself. When he heard this from Mr. Zalman Meltzer, this people don't know about. He started going to the mikveh every day also. He started every day. Just to know, if a person now is going to the mikveh every day, 20, 30 years, and it cleans him, when you see what Rabbeinu says in other places, lesson, for example, Torah Nun Vav, lesson 56, he speaks about the power that mikveh can do to a person. Mikveh is like the word of tikva, hope. Mikveh gives Rav Nosson guarantees. Rav Nosson says a guarantee that a Jew, even the worst sinner, if he's very makpid to go to the mikveh every day in his life, will come out of this world clean. Rav Nosson said this. Rav Nosson said that a Jew is very careful, go to the mikveh every day, he'll come out clean. So now, a person's going to the mikveh 20, 30, 40 years, he got used to it. It's part of his daily life, just like he wakes up in the morning and eats breakfast, he knows, I have to go to the mikveh before davening. You have people who are like that, it's automatic. They wake up in the morning, they go straight to the mikveh, right? So a guy's going 20, 30, 40 years in the mikveh, and he's dry, he's out of it. What's going on? He should have tons of light coming out of his devotion. He's going to the mikveh every day, putting on tefillin every day, tzitzit, for years. And how come they show him the people to get out of it? It's to push them to go forward. To push them to go to the opposite direction. You have everything. You're doing everything. You're doing everything right. You're going to the mikveh every day. You're davening. You're doing mitzvot. You learn. You're educated in the Torah. You're advancing. But in order to push you to go forward, there's darkness. Why? So you shouldn't be comfortable in that situation, and you should push forward, because the main thing is to keep on moving, to keep on movement. And this is the kol that he's saying that tsadik has this power to join the upper and the lower together, to give those who are low an attitude of being up there, and those who are up there the attitude of being low, and it's needed in order to get everyone forward. We're going so much in Rav Nosson's Hakdama, I want to get finally to see what Rav Nosson says. What can we do? It's very sweet, his introduction here. Okay. He's again, whenever Rav Nosson says, etc., he's skipping many points in the lesson, or many proofs and everything. He's not going to the details, because he wants to summarize for what he needs for his discourse coming up in Keriat Shema, the laws of Keriat Shema. This idea of Shemayim Ba'aretz, Darei Mala, Darei Mata, people up there, people low, is the idea of a son, a child, a son, a ben, and a student, a disciple. Bechinat, he's going to now, all this coming up, if you look at the Gemara, it's all on one page. The Gemara talks about these ideas in one page. I think in Masechet Sukkah, Masechet Sanhedrin, I forgot which Masechet, but all these ideas are together mentioned there. It's amazing. Rabbeinu is touching upon them. Aspaklaria HaMe'ira, Aspaklaria She'ena Me'ira. To explain. Aspaklaria Me'ira, Rashi says that this corresponds to the prophecy of Moshe Rabbeinu. Aspaklaria means like a mirror, HaMe'ira, a shining mirror. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu, when Hashem talked to him, Hashem gave a prophecy to Moshe Rabbeinu, he saw everything totally clear. Everything was clear. It wasn't like in a dream vision, but everything was super duper clear. What Hashem was trying to tell Moshe Rabbeinu, he got it clearly. And then you have other prophets outside of Moshe Rabbeinu, who had what's called Aspaklaria She'ena Me'ira, a mirror which is not shining, it's not 100% clear, and the prophet has to use his own intuition in order to complete what Hashem is trying to tell him in the prophecy. So you have now, he goes into Nevuah basically. A ben is up there, so he has what's called Aspaklaria Me'ira, shining, And aspakla she'ena meina is the people who are low. And he's not going to explain the Rav Nosson here because this is mentioned in the lesson in the Likutey Halakhot. Tzarich lichlol ha'olamot, and you have to, like we spoke about already, you have to unite and join together the worlds. Elyon b'tachton, the upper world and the lower world. B'tachton b'elyon, these concepts we already saw, and the lower world and the upper world. Those who are far, to make them connected to being above. Kedei she'elam yira. All this is needed to push them to go forward. Rabbeinu's wording in the lesson, what does he call to push a person to go forward? It has Yirat Shamayim. Because when a person has Yirat Shamayim, he's not going to sit behind and do nothing in life. When a person has a boost of Yirat Shamayim, he feels Hashem on him, and he's not going to sit down and do nothing. He's going to do things when a person has Yirat Shamayim. So that Rabbeinu calls to go forward in life and to move and to keep on going, he calls that Yira, fear of heaven, because that's what gives you the push to go forward. When you're doing everything right and you see darkness, so this gives you Yirat Shamayim, because it's pushing you to go forward. I feel miserable. I'm doing everything. I go to the mikveh every day. I'm davening and this and that, and I see dark. I feel far from Hashem. I feel distant. Why? This is to infuse in you Yira that you have to go forward, to push you forward, not to push you down. We know you're not going to fall down because you're strong enough. If a person's already doing everything, he's strong enough that he's not going to fall back. That's why in the first place they show him darkness, because if he was very weak, they wouldn't give him this test of taking away all the light and giving him darkness. He would be on the other side of the people who are very weak and very chalash and very low, that they need every drop of chizuk. By the way, Rabbeinu and Rav Nosson say the majority of people in this world are the opposite. We're in the earth, and we need every drop of chizuk. We need a lot of encouragement, because any tiny thing just knocks us off. Every tiny thing. So we're shochni afar. The majority of the people, we're going to see in this lesson, he's going to talk about it, the majority of the world is the bechina of the people who are far, and they need to be shown that Hashem is close to them. And that showing that Hashem is close to them is what gives them ira, gives them the push to go forward. Etc. Again. So now by joining what's called Ben v'Talmid, shining to the Talmid, the disciples, the people who are very far, the light of the Ben, which we take from the sun, which is the Dari Mala, his avodah produces a lot of light and kedusha and everything. We take the light and give it to the people who are super far, and the opposite, the person who's really far and he has no avodat Hashem, and no light generating from his avodat Hashem. We give that darkness to the people who are the Ben on top. That's called Klaliyut Ben v'Talmid. Through doing this, by the tsadik doing this, and by you also personally in your life going through stages of Talmid Ben, and being able to be bounced like a ping pong, that you have when you're low, you're far, you're close, and when you're close, you're far, and that keeps you going. You're zochet to the harat haratzon bishat achila, to come to what's called the light of desire, which is the spitz that comes also from the keter, by the way. That's from the highest level. The light of the desire of just yearning, because yearning is above everything else, even above da'at. There's what's called da'at, where you understand something, and then there's a burning desire which is above the da'at. You can't understand it. When a person is moved, for example, just a nice example, when a person is in Meron Lag BaOmer, and the music of the dancing and everything just takes him away, and then becomes full of yearning to come closer and to be attached. That yearning, there's no words to explain it, there's no da'at to explain it, it's above. So also, for example, Friday night, a regular Friday night, when a person at Kabbalat Shabbat, he feels such an arousal to come close to Hashem from the chadodi and the music in the background and everything, the tunes, the nigunim, that's called harat haratzon. There's no words that can explain it. It's a high, it's a spiritual high, it's a feeling of just coming close to Hashem and a feeling closeness that's above that. It's above. It's called the harat haratzon. And to come to this harat haratzon, he says, when? At the time of eating. Why at the time of eating? Why is he throwing in all of a sudden eating? What does eating have to do with this? Because eating, in the person's body himself, you also have what's called a ben v'Talmid. You have what's called Shemayim Aretz, Dari Mata, Dari Mala. The body, the physical body, is considered the part which is in the earth, and the soul is the part which is above. And eating, what does eating do? Joins the two together. If a person doesn't eat, he'll die. What does it mean he'll die? The soul leaves the body. There's no more nefesh, which is the upper part of the body. Who's moving the body? When a person's moving his hands, who's moving the hands? It's the nefesh who's doing that. So eating is what gives the person the energy to keep the nefesh and the goof together. That's the inyan of achila. So now that it should be done properly, we want to have what's called hara ratzon. That the eating.
What should be done properly?
Huh?
What should be done properly?
The eating. In order the eating should be done for the right intent, that the fuel coming in from the food should do its job to join the body and the soul together. In our context, to shine to the body the light of the nefesh, and to shine to the nefesh the darkness of the body, in order to keep both going. It's amazing, this idea. That's through hara ratzon. This light of ratzon does that. Because again, ratzon is a makif itself. The idea of ratzon, it's called makif de makifin. It's the highest type of makif. He says that in the lesson, that a ratzon is connected to makif, what's beyond you. The level of intellect which is beyond you, it's not yet internalized. It's like a ratzon also. Ratzon, there's no da'at, it's not tangible. The idea of a ratzon is above the da'at. So it shares the same common factor with the idea of the makif. The makif and ratzon are together. So to shine that into the eating, that means that I'm eating for the sake that the body and the soul should go forward, to keep on going, to serve Hashem. Bechinat, and again, this is Rabbi Nachman's proof, this idea that the ratzon shines at the time of eating. Ka'et, look at this, at that time, Ya'amer li Yaakov ol Yisrael ma pa'al el. At that time, this is how the Gemara explains this pasuk in Bamidbar. At that time, the angels will say to Yaakov and Israel, the Jewish people, what did Hashem do? Ma pa'al el, etc., etc. He doesn't want to go into it, but basically, he says the word ka'et now at this moment refers to what's called et ratzon. Et ratzon is a time of divine favor and yearning and desire. So he says in the word ka'et, what is ka'et? Dash Ya'amer will be said in what the definition of ka'et is, the saying of to Yaakov and Israel, Ma, what did Hashem do? In other words, what? When a person asks what, there's no doubt. When a person says what, he doesn't know. That's why he's saying what, Ma. What, Ma, indicates a yearning, a ratzon to come to know knowledge, to internalize, to know something. I don't know, so I'm asking what. That's Ma. So he's saying the word ka'et, the definition of et, a moment, is, and we're going to see why he brings this up, Ya'amer le'Yaakov Yisrael, it's the idea of ma, ratzon. And then he brings it up the second pasuk, le'et ha'ochel goshi halon. At the time of eating, what Boaz said to Ruth, le'et ha'ochel, at the time of eating, come forth. So he says the word et refers to eating, because it says le'et ha'ochel. Here in this pasuk he says ka'et, the definition is ratzon, because the word et is, he's explaining, means Ya'amer le'Yaakov Yisrael ma, what, which is ratzon. So that's the definition of the word et. And then Rabbeinu in the lesson goes to the second pasuk in Boaz, in Ruth, right? Vayomer Boaz, le'et ha'ochel, at the time of eating. So et is connected to eating there, and that's the definition of et also. Gosh Yalom, at the time when the ratzon is revealed, at the time of the eating. Ki malchut, and he goes on, the end point, ki malchut, he goes into the idea of malchut now. Because Goshi, halom, the Gemara says, what is halom? That Boaz was hinting to Ruth, at the time of eating, come forth. At the time when you see what was happening in the story in Ruth, she was collecting, like the halacha says, that the poor people, they collect what's called leket and shichecha. Right? If I have a field, and I have my farmers working for me, and they're collecting the straw with the wheat on it. Now if while collecting, one or two fall from their hands, while collecting, they have the special knife like this, and they cut the wheat. And they hold it, and then they cut, and they take, and they make a bundle afterwards out of it. Well, if while doing that, one or two falls down on the floor, they're not allowed to pick it up. They have to leave it for the poor people. So after the farmers finish cutting all the wheat, the poor people come behind them, and they look on the floor, if there's what's called a shichecha, leket shichecha, right? Leket is if one or two. If it's three, it's asur for them to take it. They have to leave it there on the floor. If it's two, that's leket. Okay, shichecha is after the farmers make a bundle of all the wheat, they make a big bundle, and if they forgot one bundle, they begin to load the bundles on the wagon with the horse to go away. So the shichecha is they leave behind one bundle, and they left already, they're not allowed to go back for one bundle. But if it's more than one bundle, they're allowed to come back for it. One or two or three, it's two or three. So exactly how shichecha works. It's the same thing like that. If it's two. If it's three bundles, then the poor person's asur for it, it's forbidden to take it, he has to leave it there. Fine. So Boaz was telling to Ruth that the farmers, while they're working in the field, and they were eating also, they need to eat, they need a break to eat. So Boaz told her, La'eta ochel, at the time when you see my workers eating, come forth and eat also. I allow you to eat from the food which I prepared for my workers in the field. Goshi alom. So all the Mefarshim, the Midrash especially, and the Zohar and everything, they explain that Boaz was hinting to Ruth. He saw Ruach HaKodesh that from Ruth will come eventually David HaMelech, which is Melucha, the kingship. So he's hinting, come, let the Malchut be revealed at the time of eating. What's at the time of eating? Ratzon. The Ratzon is revealed at the time of eating. And also Malchut comes at that time. What's Malchut? Now explains Malchut. Kia Malchut, which is Halom. I'm going into the details, like it doesn't explain that much in the summary. All this, what is eating with Ratzon do? It allows for a person to receive what's called Parnasa. So a Malchut receives its Parnasa, its financial sustenance, from the hands. So this is again deep things. Etc. The person doesn't go into it. But in short, there's the Chacham, when he teaches, it's amazing. But there's some things that a Chacham, a tsadik is able to say clearly. But you see when people talk, when Rav Nosson brings example, even a regular teacher giving a class, a shir in Gemara and Rashi and Tosfot, it's very important to see the teacher. Why? Because when a Rav is giving over a shir, he also, I'm also using my hands, he uses his hands. Why when people talk, they also express themselves in hands? Because there's so much you can get from hearing from the mouth, but the hand, the gestures, the movement of the hand when a person's talking, add a dimension into the idea. You get it much better when the hand is moving and talking. Meaning, there's certain things you don't get just from speech, but when there's a remez involved, I can't say it only in word. I need to add the movement of the hands to give that part of what I'm saying that I can't say meforish, I can't say explicitly clear. So the hand adds to that. So he talks about that the tzadikim, they sometimes express something in a movement of the hand, and they don't say clearly what they want to say. They express it in the format of what's called the makif. And these are called the yadayim. And these yadayim are in the sea of wisdom. It's called Yam HaChochma. Yam is basically the idea where the Malchut resides, and Chochma is the highest, the beginning of the Sfirot, shining all the Shefa, all the Bracha into the Malchut, and there's hands there. And now that Malchut this is a very high term, that the Malchut receives Parnasa from their hands in the Yam Chochma. Every person who has to bring Parnasa to the world, for example, a husband to his wife, that's the example Rabbeinu says in this Torah, that when a man gets married, he's mechayev everything written in the Ketubah. You have in the Ketubah everything that the Chatan takes upon himself to do, he signs. The Chatan signs on the Ketubah, right? And you have two witnesses there that he signed. What does it say in the Ketubah? I'm going to pay for you, I'm going to feed you, I'm going to give you clothing. He says to the wife in the Ketubah, everything's on me. And that's Malchut. The man is taking upon himself Hadgasha. There's a big stress to do Daf Yomi and Likutey Moran, Daf Yomi and Likutey Halakhot. It's all fine and dandy, it's all unbelievable, it's all amazing. However, you should know the true treasure is to be found where? In the Iyun. When you take time to learn very carefully the Likutey Moran and Likutey Halakhot carefully. In other words, not to do everything in one shot, to do like every day a paragraph here, a paragraph there, to go very slowly, to absorb what you're learning. This will begin to change you. This will be you begin really to connect to the Rebbe's teachings, to Rav Nosson, what Rav Nosson is trying to say. Because Rav Nosson, if you read it fast, you get chapped, you don't grab what he's really trying to tell you. You can learn fast. That's what the Amud Yomi does. The Mekiut, the learning fast, the Likutey Halakhot, the Likutey Moran, is to gain a knowledge of the ideas, and also because the Likutey Halakhot contains a lot of light, so it's unfortunate to say learning the Likutey Halakhot is like a boost of drugs. La'avdil, I'm sorry to say it like this, but when people are really down and they want to boost, learning the Likutey Halakhot a lot does that. Rav Shimon Shapiro said that. Rav Shimon Shapiro, he said,
saying the word.
What?
Just saying the word.
It's just saying the words. So just go fast Likutey Halakhot. It has the power to give you an uplifting thing. But that uplifting high is very temporary. It's like it'll last for like a day or something or two. You want the real thing, go slowly. Go slowly, carefully, Look carefully at what he's trying to say. When you do that, your eyes are open. The rest of books are like 3D. You know 3D? You put on special glasses and all of a sudden you start seeing things. Woo! You see things popping up and images and everything. The same thing like that. By learning the Breslov Sfarim, the more you invest, the more you begin to see things that nobody in the world is seeing. Only you can see these things. And it's talking to you. It's mamash talking to you directly. And you see things in life happening directly related to what you're learning. And you can't explain to other people. Where does this end? And the nafka mina is, you begin to make a better change in your life. You have a push. There's a big dosage of Yirat Shamayim. And you feel a major hand from above pushing you in a certain direction so that you know you're not on the wrong track and you're on the right track. This is the beauty of learning carefully, especially the Likutey Moran and Likutey Halakhot. They would say in Breslov, what we say every day, right before Aleinu L'Shabeach in the morning, Kol hashoneh halachot b'chol yom, muftach lo shemer olam haba. Right? Anyone who learns at least 2 halachot every day is guaranteed to be a ben olam haba. Right? He has a portion in the world to come. So in Breslov they would say like this, Kol hashoneh Likutey Halakhot b'chol yom. Anyone who learns Likutey Halakhot, not just halacha, anyone who learns Likutey Halakhot every day, muftach lo shemer olam haba. They would add that. You have a portion in the world to come. We'll stop here. This was the only, we didn't even start yet. This is the only Rav Noson's Hakdama to this halacha, this discourse. And Mr. Hashem, hopefully next time we continue, we'll begin to start how Rav Noson connects these ideas to Keriat Shema, which is unbelievable. Begin to understand the ideas of Keriat Shema. Why the nighttime Keriat Shema is all night. Why do I have from the nighttime Keriat Shema from tsadik until Lot Shachar? And why by the day Keriat Shema is only 3 hours? Let it be the same. Just like I have the night Keriat Shema is all night, so too let the Keriat Shema of the day be from Alot HaShachar until Tzadik Kochavim. Why not? Make it parallel. It explains the whole inyan. Why is it that's only the first 3 hours of the day and the Keriat Shema of night is the whole night? When we go into that, it's beautiful. You see with the lens, you see Rabbeinu gives you glasses now. What Noson is doing, he's giving you a prescription. He wants you now to put on this prescription, and now you're going to see the Keriat Shema from the prescription of the Likutey Moran, lesson 7. And what it's going to do, it's going to change your life. Basically, number 1. But number 2, it gives you a perspective and you begin to see what Rav Noson does when he opens your mind to see things in the Torah that were there all along, and you never paid attention to them. But now, from the perspective of the prescription, of the lens of the Likutey Moran, you begin to see it. It makes sense now. What Rav Noson does is he makes your imagination begin to move, and you on your own can begin to mechadish also, and to connect everything in your life and in Yiddishkeit and everything in the Torah to this Torah. It's to this lesson in the Likutey Moran. It's phenomenal. Because Rabbeinu himself said, with one lesson in the Likutey Moran, you can go through the entire Shas, every page of Shas, all the Midrash, all the Zohar, everything, the Tanakh, everything with one lesson. If you take the lens, the prescription of a lesson in the Likutey Moran, and with that eyesight, you now look at the Tanakh, you now look at the Shas, you now look at the Zohar, the Midrashim, the Kitrari, you begin to see things that nobody else sees. It's phenomenal. My nafka mina, or just to have a high? No. It begins to change your avodat Hashem. It begins to enhance your davening, enhance your emunah, enhance your performance of mitzvot. Everything becomes enhanced. Of course, there's always ups and downs. This is part of life. Like in this lesson, there's darkness, there's light. There's darkness, there's light. But when the light comes, it comes strong. And when the darkness comes, you know how to deal with it. Bezat Hashem, you know how to hold on with emunah until it passes and you feel again that Keriat Hashem. Bezat Hashem, we should be zocheh to see how Rav Noson's going to open our eyes and use it for the maaseh. Because he said Rav Noson, his whole purpose in writing Likutey Halakhot is that people should do it. Like for example, he talks about now the idea of Keriat Shema and how it's based on this lesson. When you do the mitzvah of Keriat Shema, have it in mind with this Torah. You should do with it. You should go, when you put on talit and explains how it works with this lesson, you should have that. It's like a kavanah. It's even greater than the Kabbalistic kavanot. Because here it's pshat. Here it's your simple devotion based on your heart, on your feeling, and it's connecting to you, and you're doing it with this emotion, as opposed to Kabbalah, which is a lot of kavanot and ichudim, it's called, which all requires thought. Here it's all heart. It's all regesh. It's all the emotion involved. Bezat Hashem, we should be able to see this. The Rav Noson opens the doors, And mamash, a person can be transformed into a totally different person just from learning and absorbing the Likutey Halakhot. It's a one-of-a-kind sefer. There's basically no other book like this. And the proof is, taste it, you'll see. Taste Likutey Halakhot, see how it talks to you, and then learn other Musar Sfarim. You will see what you get out of the Likutey Halakhot you won't get anywhere else. Proof? Try it. Try it yourself and you'll see. All right, Yesher Koach.
What are you going to say the name of the Shema?
That what he said. I said it. That he said to learn a lot of Likutey Halakhot every day, even to say the words. To learn a lot of Bikiyas. And that gives you a lot of light. But the truth remains the truth, that the Iyun is still the main learning in Likutey Halakhot. I tell everybody, I'm just saying, as a practical handle, just like Rabbeinu said to have two Sadarim in the Likutey Moran, to have a Bikiyut and Be'iyun, it's Kedai to also have a Bikiyut Be'iyun in Likutey Halakhot and Likutey Tefillot. And to do together, in other words, if you have you took a Torah on the Likutey Moran that you're going with, like now the Chabor, they're doing Torah Tet Vav, so do together with it all the Likutey Halakhot on Torah Tet Vav Be'iyun and the Likutey Tefillot on Tet Vav Be'iyun. In other words, to go over it again and again and again, to go with it. Rabbeinu's Eitzah, 2 to 3 months. And Bikiyas, have a set of Bikiyas. Likutey Halakhot.
Also like Bruno Nachman says, look into every pusik, moments like this. And
that's part of the Iyun. We say to do that on Likutey Halakhot, not necessary so much. Why? Because Rav Nosson, he more or less explains what he's trying to tell you. Rabbeinu doesn't explain anything. Rabbeinu says an hasaga, and then he brings the pasuk, and he leaves now you hanging. You on your own, with bina, he opens your imagination. Rabbi Nachman, he says like a big idea, and he dresses it in the pasuk. So now what's your avodah? You take the whole pasuk. First, all the background information on that, from the Shas, from the Zohar, from the Midrash, from the Kitva, to do your maximum. All the Mefarshim, the Tzudat, Rashi, everything you can get to get a picture of the pasuk, and to see what Rabbeinu is saying, how it's hinted to in that. You find it in the Chazal here, I find it in the Zohar here, I find it in the Midrash. Oh, I see what Rabbeinu is saying everywhere now. And then we go to step 4. Rabbeinu brought a pasuk, a whole pasuk, and he's using for his hasaga 2 words in the pasuk. How about the rest of the pasuk? Right? Like for example, this Torah, Rabbeinu uses ki merachamam yenahagem. 3 words from a pasuk in Yeshaya. Someone who's a Rahman, he can be a leader. Okay, Rabbeinu, thank you. How about the rest of the pasuk, the Sefer? There's more words. You can't just be a part of a pasuk and that's it. Go the whole way. He said himself. There are some tzadikim. He said in Sichot Haran, the tzadikim reveal a hasaga, and it doesn't fit in perfectly to the pasuk. When they bring up a makor for what they're saying, it doesn't fit in perfectly. But there are true tzadikim, unbelievable tzadikim. They say a hasaga, and it fits in perfectly in the proof. It fits in perfectly like a puzzle. So now, if that's the case, go on with the rest of the pasuk. And that's how it is basically, that if you now look at the other words of the pasuk, you'll see other parts of the Torah that Rabbeinu spoke about are also hinted to in the other parts of the pasuk. Rabbeinu himself does that. He opens up with a pasuk, Uvim Bikorim, Vayim Miketz, right? He brings a pasuk, and he begins to show you, dissect parts of the pasuk, and sometimes Rabbeinu will leave out 1 word. He said the first, second word, and then the 4th, 5th, 6th, how about the word, the 3rd word, he skipped it. So he leaves room for you to now mechadish.
Rav Nosson doesn't do it.
Rav Nosson is not like that. Likutey Halakhot, Rav Nosson is more down to earth, because Rav Nosson's purpose is to me'ir b'nikuda tachtana, the people who are low. Rav Nosson, he wrote his sefer for the people who are, we're going to see, hakitzur and shochne afar, as Rashi Tevot, I think they're Yekumun Nevelati, Hakitzur shochne afar, as Rashi Tevot Yehoshua. Yehoshua is the Talmud. So in this lesson itself, this lesson is very connected to Rav Nosson. This lesson, at the end of the Torah, Rabbeinu said, quoting, that Moshe put his hands on Yehoshua, Vaymala oto ruach chochma, and then the Cherner Rav's father, Rav Aaron, the Rav of Breslov, the student of Rabbeinu, he was there when Rabbeinu revealed this Torah on Shabbat Chanukah a year before he passed away in 1809, and he said everyone present knew clearly that Rabbeinu was referring to Rav Nosson, that he was giving him smicha. That with this Torah, Rabbeinu was giving his smicha, ordination to Rav Nosson to be the Talmud, not to become the next Admor of Breslov, but to stay the Talmud. And what's the job of the Talmud of Yeshua? Hakitzu v'ranenu shochne afar, to make aroused those people were mamash knocked out. Those people were mamash in Geinam. Those people were on the earth. That's why Likutey Halakhot is even in a way, in a sense, it's more important to learn Likutey Halakhot than Likutey Moran. If you have, for example, only half an hour to learn, or 10 minutes to learn Breast of Sfarim, or Likutey Moran, or Likutey Halakhot, the answer is Likutey Halakhot comes first, because that gives you the koach to get on your feet. Bezat Hashem.
Why did he wrote Dafkin and Krishma? Because he was holding in Shulchan Aruch by Krishma, or because he saw that because I read that now you have to something Krishma about?
Rabbeinu told him like this: you take the Likutey Moran and you take the Shulchan Aruch. You start from Shulchan Aruch in the beginning. You start learning, and then Rav Nosson, when you learn a halacha, try to see if you can connect it to a Torah in the Likutey Moran. So no seder in the Likutey Moran. The seder is in Shulchan Aruch. Rabbeinu told Rav Nosson, start from Orach Chaim, Sif Aleph, Sif Bet, Siman Aleph, Bet, Gimel, and Shulchan Aruch to go Keseder, and whatever Me'ir Lecha, you have a hit or root, and the or from any Torah in the Likutey Moran, join it together. So by that, Rav Nosson, he was holding by Keriat Shema, and while learning the laws of Keriat Shema, all of a sudden, he said, wow, I'm beginning to see in Keriat Shema ideas connected to Torah Zayin Tinyana.
So if
started writing.
So if he saw in the same time by Krishma that he has another Torah that can go with Krishma, he would write another halacha, or he would wait for the next round of
The next round.
Oh, so he wouldn't write.
Yeah, Rav Nosson, when he did something, he was kol kulo into it. Where it talks about this nicely and clearly in the back of the Sefer to Fire in the Water, Shema.
It's in English, right?
It's also in the Shema Kodesh. There you have an appendix, an ispach, and it says it's called the methodology of the Likutey Halakhot. How Rav Nosson wrote the Likutey Halakhot. It's amazing. But that's for someone who's mamash, who's already learned a lot of the Likutey Halakhot and knows how it works. So he explains the whole structure, how Rav Nosson wrote it. And how did Rav Nosson do it? Like what was and Rav Nosson puts in all of a sudden many things happening in his life. When his son had a baby boy, there was a bris. You see all of a sudden Rav Nosson writes, "V'zeh b'chinat brit milah." Why did Rav Nosson all of a sudden put in bris milah? Or on his way to Eretz Yisrael, he starts to "V'zeh b'chinat Eretz Yisrael" because he was living it. He started putting it, even though it had nothing to do with the laws of Kiddush, the laws of Birkat HaNe'anim, of Shabbos, whatever. But he threw it in because that's what he was going through in life at the time. He was living it and putting it all together.
So if he saw at the same time another Torah,
it could be that he would have put my mark on the side and put on the side. But B'derech Kol Rav Nosson was so absorbed in that Torah in the Likutey Moran, and he was shining this light. Him being Yeshua, his goal was to begin to explain the Likutey Moran through the Shulchan Aruch. You hear that? It's not just to write chidushim. Rabbeinu didn't just tell him, I want you to write now chidushim on the Shulchan Aruch based on the Likutey Moran. It's not just that. This Likutey Halakhot is basically explaining the kavanah behind Likutey Moran.
And behind the halacha.
Behind what?
And behind the halacha.
But this means now you can't learn Likutey Moran properly without Likutey Halakhot. Someone who learns Likutey Moran, Rabbi Nachman Sfarim, Rav Nosson, Shalom, goodbye. You might as well just close the Likutey Moran because you're not going to understand it properly. You can understand it any way you want, but if you want to get the emes dike pshat from the Torah, you need Rav Nosson there. He says at the opening of Bir Likutim, Nachman v'Nosson kachad hachashive. Both have a nun. Nachman, nun, Nosson, nun. And in the middle you have Moach, that's the Rav, the Moach, Torah Aleph. And then Tav, he says in Torah Aleph, V'itvita Tav, Lashon Chakika. The Tav, Rabbeinu says, quoting the Nevuah of Yecheskel, when they saw the angels marking a mark on the forehead of the people who were supposed to die. So it says, V'itvita Tav, and Rabbeinu says, Lashon Chakika. Rashi says, Chakika, it means to etch, to mark inside is Tav. Tav in Lashon HaKodesh, Tavav means to mark. So Rav Nosson has the letter Tav inside, which means he's being etched with what? Moach. Nachman, Moach, is shining into the Talmid, the Tav. So that's why they work together. Rav Nachman and Rav Nosson, they work together. If you really want to know what's written in the Likutey Moran to understand it properly, you need Rav Nosson. You You can understand the Likutey Moran if you want pshat and everything, but you're not going to get anywhere with it. It's going to be another Musar Sefer, another beautiful chidushim and things. That's it. Like many people, they have 20 svarim on the shelf. One of them is the Likutey Moran. Okay, it's not going to change them. If you want the Likutey Moran to really change you, it's through Rav Nosson. I remember I was on Shidduchim, and there was a girl from South Africa in some place in Harnof. Nos Yerushalayim, I forgot what it's called. Neve Yerushalayim. Neve. Right. So, Neve was, I don't know if it still is, about 18 years ago, was very Litvish, very misnagdish. Why? So it was the first time ever, that a girl on Shidduchim of a Breslover. It was me, I was on Shidduchim. So it was very hard for her because the whole place was Litvish and they spoke against the Hasidic approach. Breslov, all the more so. So, and she was very confused because all the meetings we had when I met this girl, we're all talking about Hashkafa. I was explaining her the whole Breslov Hashkafa of Hisbodedus, talking to Hashem and everything, and she was flipping out. It was so beautiful, it was so amazing. But then when she went back to her seminar, they spoke against Breslov and everything, so she was really torn apart. So finally she told me, the Rosh Hashiva wants to meet you. In other words, one of the mashgichim of the Neve, he wants me to come to his house. So I came to his house, and immediately he started attacking Breslov, attacking. And he said, "Well, you think I don't know Breslov? I have the Likutey Moran." He pulled out the Likutey Moran from his shelf. "I have the Likutey Moran. Look, I have. But you can't understand the Sefer." He opens up Torah Dalet. Vidu idvarim lifnei talmid chacham. He says to me, "Doesn't it sound like Christianity? Does it like Avodah Zarah?" So then, Mina Shemaim, I did a good move. I opened to him Rav Noson's Hakdama, and Rav Noson says 4 times in the Hakdama to the Likutey Moran, someone who's not looking for the emes, this book won't talk to them. Lo yo'ilu dvarim. I showed him. I said, "Listen, you see?
How old were you?
I was 22. Alte Bachar, I'm ready 23. Right? So I showed him that. I said, whoever's not looking for the emes, this book won't talk to. And I said, I'm not leaving Breslov. And if now she's not ready for that, then cancel the shidduch and forget it. There's nothing to do. It was cancelled. Baruch Hashem. But I showed him that. And meaning what? That you can have the Likutey Moran, but it won't talk to you. You won't get out of it anything. It'll be another sefer, another chidushim, and you have questions on it also. Like this with Rosh Hashiva. I can understand. Right? I couldn't understand it.